Glenn's not having it though.
Maybe,
He's like,
maybe
come up with your
I'm
own
not
riff.
having it.
Come
In
up
pop
with your own
music.
riff.
Yep.
Certainly not in Steve Smith jazz, though.
I'm not.
Steve Smith creating all kinds of stuff with his jazz.
What are you talking about?
Once upon a not-so-distant time, starry-eyed youth turned on their radios and were dazzled by the shimmering promise of a future that was so bright, they had to wear shades. To counter that satirical optimism, others felt fine, gleefully warning that it was the end of the world as we know it. But whether it's utopian unity or dystopian despair, artists have long attempted to predict the future. Today, Glen, Dave, and Jimmy fire up the time machine in search of sage synth sorcerers, mystical metal mediums, and prescient punk prophets who have been charting the horizon for decades. This is Top 5 Songs About the Future on this episode of the 5x3.
Hey, welcome to the 5x3. I am Jimmy.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Dave.
And today's episode is Top 5 Songs About the Future. And Glenn is going to kick things off today.
I'm going to kick things off with a timeless classic. I'm sure you're familiar with Haunted Earth by Toxic.
It's one of Dave and I's favorites.
I didn't put this on the list because I thought someone else might have it. So
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I thought Dave was going to pick that one, so I didn't.
yeah,
Wow.
timeless
What-
classic.
Yeah.
The timeless classic. Can we see the front of that cover again? With the
Yeah.
is that an evil clown? What is that?
Yeah.
World Circus.
So you can
Toxic.
just sit by the
Isn't it-
artwork. You can see where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one of your wife's favorites?
Yes. Yes. Most requested.
Yeah.
Just the title alone, the imagery of we things up so bad that the earth is left in a haunted state. The entire earth. It's just haunted by the mistakes humanity made, and everyone's gone.
Kicking things off with a bang. Ladies
love
and
it.
gentlemen,
I
Glenn.
love it. I love it.
It's not an uplifting song, but it's a warning. It's a
So tell us about the music. Is it like new age kind of sounding?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I should say, for those of you not familiar with Toxic, this is some more technical thrash. This you could pair nicely with Watchtower.
You can do a double shot of Watchtower and Toxic.
Yeah.
Cousin of Watchtower.
What's the year? What's it like?
This is 1987.
Okay.
Toxic.
Toxic.
Haunted Earth. Glenn's number 5. Dave, good luck topping that, my man.
Mine is not Toxic. Maybe the polar opposite of Toxic. I don't know. This category was a thinker for me. This was not an easy category. I kept coming back to this song. I don't know why or how, but I heard it as a kid. My dad used to listen to it. This is Bob Dylan, 1964, The Times They Are A-Changin'. I think the tone of it, the message of it is that the only thing that's constant is change. It's a very social song. He's always looking forward to the youth movement. What's the next generation going to be doing? I think it's just as relevant as it is now. It's kind of, a timeless song in that sense. It's a very simple song. It's just him and a guitar and a harmonica. And I didn't pay that much attention to it that much until the last few years. It just kind of kept coming up on my random stuff. I was like, you could sing this song today. Social upheaval, generational change. Like I said, he's looking towards the future. There's some very prophetic lyric moments. You better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. Like feeling like every man for themselves. Like I feel like is kind of happening right now. Not too much else to say about this one, but I kept coming back to it, and I was like, this one I think is a good number 5 for me.
Yeah, that one never. I mean, the times they are changing. It seems like that has never changed.
They always are.
That you could sing that any day of the week since it came out.
You can sing that until the end of time, I would imagine, because things are always changing all the time.
And you wonder if when he wrote it, he was thinking, wow, right now they really are changing, and it's like, No, they really always are.
They always are.
So times they are changing. Indeed. Bob Dylan, Dave's number 5. I guess I'm going to jump in with my number 5. I do want to say before I do my number 5, mine all come around the same time period. All of my, it seems like most of mine are around the same time frame, and I was curious about that. And so I looked into it, and there was a lot of, around the late 70s, early 80s, there was a lot of, there were 3 forces converging at that time. Mass media hype around the computer age was happening. Articles predicting thinking machines and robot companions, and musicians literally now using machines at that time. That was new, synths, drum machines, and feeling that shift in creativity. And then the Cold War with sci-fi culture that made, future tech feel urgent at that time, and even a little dangerous. I think at that time people were scared of, think of all the, drummers terrified of drum machines. And I was curious where this all started, where it all came from. Like, where were people getting this information? Where were musicians hearing this? Where was it all at? There was a magazine at the time. There were a couple things happened. There was a magazine called Omni Magazine. Do you guys remember that? It launched in 1978, and it was hugely influential in blending science, speculation, sci-fi imagery, and it covered computers, robotics, and the future of human-machine relationships. As early as 1978. This is well before, obviously, anyone had a computer in their house. And then it had a couple other moments. I just think this was interesting because there was all this music that came out around that time. How are they talking about this in 1981 or 2 or whatever? And in 1982, Time magazine made the PC Machine of the Year instead of a person. All of a sudden that created this fascination and some unease. People were like, wait, hang on a minute. There's no person of the year. It's a PC. And this was in 1982. I was just curious, where were these artists and, musicians coming up with these themes that seem, some of them, to be happening today, within the last few years now, and they're singing about it then. So I'm going to quickly do my number 5 because my number 5 is really over the top. It's a pretty cheesy song, and I don't need to spend a lot of time on it. And no disrespect to him, because actually I am unapologetic Rick Springfield fan. But my number 5 is from 1983, the Living in Oz album, a song called Human Touch, which I loved when I was a kid. It starts with everybody's talking to computers. They're all dancing to a drum machine. I know I'm living on the outside, scared of getting caught between. So it's about this relationship between technology, humans, computers, and that sort of already thinking, oh, there's this overlap. I mean, little did they know, right? At the time. But, and then you skip to the pre-chorus, and it's, but Sally had a hard time holding back. Turns out, which we don't know based on the lyrics and just the song, Sally is a computer. And we see that, and we only learn that in the video, which is a whole other story. And I'll try to go really fast on that. You have to go to YouTube. Everybody, please go find Human Touch, the long form video. It's incredible. You don't know how he had a career after this. This is 83. Okay.
Did he pull a Billy Squier?
Oh, I feel so bad for Billy Squier because of all that anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that Rick got away with this and Billy lost his career over some satin sheets and a pink shirt that he was, and dancing, a little, I know it was a lot, but you guys have to see this video. This is 6-7 years after Star Wars came out.
Does the music stop and there's stuff going on? Like,
is there a long intro?
It's got a long intro.
Gotcha.
Before music starts?
Long breakdown. That's not in the original song.
Sound designed?
There's some sound. There's some. This is like Star Wars, Star Trek, bad sets. And for anyone who's not familiar with, what was going on in 83, MTV was very new. And to have, this was probably a very, very, very big budget for this video. Yeah. And everything looks like it's made out of cardboard. It looks horrible. It's really bad, but you can tell it was top notch at the time. They were like, the record label was like, we gotta hit here. We gotta load up on this, baby. So they poured it into it, and it looked, it's like Star Wars Creature Cantina. Like the band is like, they have the creatures and there's a sax solo in it.
Yeah.
And one of the creatures from the Creature Cantinas playing the sax. And it's just one of the worst videos you'll ever see. And it just makes the song, it blew the song up for me. I was like, I had never thought about the lyrics. I just was like, oh, this is a cool tune. And then I saw the video and I was like, oh my God, what happened?
Yikes.
Poor Rick. So anyway, but Human Touch, the song is about the future. It's about relationships, looking forward to how those dynamics work between human and machine. And that's my number 5. Please check out the video. You will truly enjoy it.
We have homework. Love to see that.
Glenn, you're number 4.
Well, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer here, but my number 4 is Distant Early Warning by Rush.
Love that song. Love that song.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
This is off of Grace Under Pressure.
Oh, nice.
Which is my favorite Rush album. Post Terry Brown, he stepped aside as producer. And interesting note, Peter Henderson produced this album, who also produced Breakfast in America and also Famous Last Words for Supertramp. Distant Early Warning. It's living in a tense world, and this is 84. This is Cold War. This is relating to the DEW line, the Distant Early Warning line, way up northern Canada. A system of radar stations in the northern Arctic region of Canada set up to detect Soviet aircraft. So it's kind of just the state of life back then, with this constant idea of the possibility that the Russians are coming. It was a concern, but I don't know. I think I'm more scared today in 2025 than I was in 1984.
Well, because we didn't give a crap then, like, for the most part. We were like,
we weren't paying
and,
attention necessarily.
You don't watch the news. You don't care. There was some stuff that would creep through where I would think, wow, I guess this is it. I guess we're not making it to drinking age. But we did. Well, there it is. Rush, Distant Early Warning. Glenn dropping the DEW system on us, Dave.
I didn't know what that was called, but thank God it's there.
What system are you bringing us with number 4?
Well, it's, this is tying in perfectly with my number 4, because, I think Jim and Glenn, you both bring up the idea of the Cold War, technology, the early 80s. This one's from 1982. This is Electric Eye by Judas Priest.
Yeah, I almost had that one on mine.
From the 1982 album Screaming for Vengeance. MTV was just launching. Satellites were launching. We were starting this era of technology that we weren't used to before then. And the idea of there's this evil eye up there in the sky that's always watching you, total surveillance, loss of autonomy. There's nowhere to hide. You're always, the idea of Big Brother, it's very Orwellian, 1984, So it's, for coming from Judas Priest, I was kind of surprised, because they're, it's kind of a thinker song, but I think it ties in like it is part of the Cold War. It is part of this new era of technology dawning where, you're being watched, and that's very prophetic to now, where everyone walks around with their phone and there's cameras everywhere, and there's basically, you have to assume everywhere you go, every second of any day in public, you are on some camera somewhere. And I think that's, people were thinking about that back then.
We've been warned for a long time about all these things. We've been warned. There's been warnings. And
just the song itself is a great song. Great performance by Rob Halford. Yeah. I love KK Downing and Glenn Tipton just playing the same thing, just doubling those guitars just all the way through. It's a great song, and it's but you listen to it, you really listen to the lyrics and everything. It's like, they knew what they knew it was coming.
That's an amazing tune.
It's an amazing tune. I love it. It's so energetic and fun, but it's like, oh no, we're being watched.
All right, Dave, Electric Eye from Screaming for Vengeance.
Love Screaming for Vengeance.
Judas Priest record. Yes. And my number 4 is a pretty different turn from that, but My number 4 is from 1981, the ELO record. The track is Yours Truly 2095, which not a hit, obviously, but a very interesting record by ELO. This song is amazing. This song is really cool. Great one to go check out. Very, tons of cool synths and vocoders and really upbeat track. Really cool. Has all the sauce of ELO, their great 70s stuff. They even have some, some of the orchestra in there and, little moments where it's like, oh, is that, Living Thing or Sweet, they have those just great little moments. Boy, talk about predicting what's coming. So let's just read some lyrics and then I'm just going to leave it at that. We don't have to talk about that. Everyone can go check out the song, but here's just some of the lyrics, a little sampling. I met someone who looks a lot like you. She does the things you do, but she's an IBM. She knows nothing of our world, although her memory banks overflow. See, this is like very chat GPT kind of AI current. She knows nothing of our world, which they do, but what he's saying is no physical, like they don't understand really humanity, although her memory banks overflow. Maybe one day I'll feel her cold embrace and kiss her interface. Till then, I'll leave her alone. To me, it's that's all the stuff going on right now. So that's it. Yeah. For 1981, I don't know. It's pretty on the nose.
Yeah.
With all these relationships, and I'll get into more of that in some of my other picks, but the whole thing about humans having relationships is getting very serious. A lot of very serious articles coming out in very serious, publications about this is a problem for the next generation. They're already struggling, connecting and making relationships. It's a real thing now. We're living in what these songs were singing about in 1981. So Glenn, you're number 3.
My number 3, When I'm 64 by the Beatles, off of Sgt. Pepper, 1967.
Yeah.
Evidently, this is one of the first songs Paul ever wrote.
Oh, really?
He was like 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just about growing old together, really. That's the long and short of it. It's a heartwarming tune, nothing sci-fi about it.
Such a catchy song too, It's very jaunty. It's very jaunty. It's so British.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah, we had to take a Cold War break there for a second and give ourselves a little
Yeah.
Everyone
AI break.
Everyone relax. It's over.
Yeah, the future's okay.
The world could be falling apart around growing old together, but
right. But they'll be together.
Well, that's nice.
That's a good one.
Thank you for the positive moment, Glenn.
Yeah.
Dave, please.
Well, I'm gonna continue my Cold War fear, but in a fun party way.
Fun party Cold War.
Cold War. This is again 1982. This is 1999 by Prince.
There we go. Good times.
Off the 1982 album of the same name. He read an article or he saw a documentary about Nostradamus and how the world was going to end in 1999. And he thought, well, if it's going to end, then let's have fun. Gonna party like it's 1999. Great song. There's what's the one line, the Cold War tie-in is everybody's got a bomb. We could all die any day. I mean, that's thrown in there. It's like a fun party song, but some of the stuff is pretty serious. The song is so Prince. It's so Prince. I want to talk about the video because we watched the video today, and I used to see this all the time on MTV, and everyone's seen this video or whatever. It's just a live performance, but like. He's got his amazing Telecaster and he never plays it through the whole song. It's just around him, and he's like dancing around and he's not playing it at all. There's 4 singers in the verse. There's the two women, Lisa Coleman and Jill Jones. Yeah. They sing the first line and then the guitar player Des Dickerson sings the second line and then Prince comes in, which I thought was kind of cool. Like Prince doesn't, Prince is kind of a one-man thing, but he kind of let them have it.
Yeah.
It's just it's a fun song. I love Prince's, especially his vocal choices in this song too. But about the future, he wrote in 1982, writing about 1999, a fun Cold War party song. There you go. My number 3.
That's a great one because it was hard to write a party anthem that was talking about the end of the world because at the end he has the he does the pitch shift up on it sounds like little kids. And, he has them say, "Mommy, why does everybody have a bomb?" You know, at the end. I don't know if that's on probably not on the single version, but on the album version. On the album version. The album version also has the intro where the voice is slowed down.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Did anyone make a better party anthem about the world ending than that? I mean, I don't
think so.
There were songs like that. I'm sure it's not on anybody's list, so I can mention it. But yeah, it wasn't a party anthem, but one of those songs, almost like every breath you take. How everyone, Sting always laughs about how everyone makes that a wedding song. He's like, it's about a stalker. It's like the darkest song ever.
I know. I think someone said, "Oh, those are wedding songs." He's like, "Good luck."
You're right. Right. But it was like another one like that was I Melt With You by Modern English. It's about nuclear, melting. Everybody melting. It was like, literally melting. Melt with you. Oh, you're so romantic. I'll melt with you too. 1999, Prince, Dave's number 3. My number 3 is Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap from 2005. It's all her in one take doing, she's using, she recorded her voice in one pass through a Digitech vocalist harmonizer with no backing track and no post-production layering. So it all happened at once. So you can kind of hear her real voice in there a bit, but you hear all the vocoder sort of stuff, but it's also doing harmonies, which is very, I was reading, it's very hard to replicate. People try to do and they're like, how did she get this thing? It's because the harmonizer was doing all this sort of random sort of stuff. Yeah. So it's really difficult to replicate. But it's a beautiful, I find it to be a beautiful, beautiful song. It's almost, there's really no music to it. It's just that. It's a commentary on disconnection, irresponsibility, and the fallout from careless decisions by people, which can, whether that's relationships or whether that's people in power. So the whole song you can take either way. It can be interpreted, and she wisely never told anybody what exactly it was about. And I love that about it. And it's beautiful. It's hard to make a song sound beautiful when we're talking about either of those topics. And I just think it's cool. Imogen Heap, that's my number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, that's a good one. I listened to that record quite a bit when it came out. Yeah.
Such an interesting, I think I saw something about it. She just did it. Like, it was very, like you said, it's all one pass. She just and this is the great thing about because I remember that thing, the Digitech harmonizer. Yeah, it's going to do some weird stuff. Because if she's a little bit just above the pitch, it's going to do a different harmony than if she's just below the pitch. So you can't replicate it. It's like a one of a kind. It'll never be done that way again. Which is super cool. I
think it's had a bit of comeback. I know my kids were talking about it, and they're like, "You know that song?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know the song."
Yes.
The kids now they're hearing these songs, and I don't care if they know if they think they're new. I mean, it's great that it's great their generation that the music that's been made in our lifetime doesn't have that old sound to it that makes it sound like an oldie or whatever. They're just like they think it's a new song, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, that's a great new song. All right, Glenn, you're number 2.
My number 2. This one hits it on the nose. It's called Future World by Halloween from their 1987 album Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1.
I did come across this one. Yep, there it is. Yeah. They've even got the pumpkin in the back there.
No funny business. None of that German humor here.
No, well, but here's the thing. This is a very optimistic song. This is not doom and gloom. This is about a utopian future. This is about happiness for everybody. This is a very positive message in this tune, and it's an anthem. If for Halloween, it's an anthem. You won't go to a Halloween show without hearing this one. It's arguably their biggest hit. I mean, outside of I Want Out, I suppose.
The laywoman would see the name Halloween and go, I bet Future World's not an uplifter.
Right. Bleak. Could be bleak, but it's not.
Because they're called Halloween.
Despite the name, they use humor. They often have a positive message. Through metal, they can be very uplifting, energetic, inspirational, triumphant. So, yeah, that is
The triumphant
yeah.
future.
I mean, I can't say I've listened to a ton of Halloween in my lifetime, but I definitely see how they are positive, and definitely energetic and not negative. Even though you'd think like, oh, Keeper of the Seven, like it's some sort of like mystical, like dragons or whatever. I don't know if they are like that at all, but I never thought of them as like being bleak, or negative.
Yeah, it's not bleak. I mean, they'll jump into that fantasy world and they'll definitely go to all those places.
I was surprised when I first heard them. Given the name, given the imagery, given the names of the song, the records and stuff, not at all what I expected. I was surprised. All right, Dave, are you gonna follow up Halloween with your number 2?
I'm gonna go back in time. To the Beatles, not a little different tone from them with Tomorrow Never Knows from Revolver, 1966. Nice. The idea, the story goes that John Lennon got inspired by the Tibetan Book of the Dead. The idea of transcendence over time, spiritual future. And just the way they made the song, they were using tape loops and samples, and the song is one chord through the whole song, but yet they move it along with all these different weird sounds and samples, and the vocals are odd, almost mystical. But the idea of tomorrow never knows. You never know what's going to happen the next day, and like they were probably experimenting a little bit with LSD and trying to, the idea of like, time is not linear when you're experimenting with these sort of things, or at least it seems that way to you. And yeah, I think it's, obviously Tomorrow Never Knows, but I think I picked it more for like the way George Martin produced it. I probably the first people that were using tape loops like this, very innovative. No one had done that before. Speaks to the genius of not only the Beatles but George Martin. So it's not When I'm 64, but it's a different take from the Beatles. My number 2, Tomorrow Never Knows.
I feel like that beat is futuristic.
It is. He's doing basically the same thing the whole time. It's very.
Yeah. It's an intense beat.
It is.
I feel like it got lifted in a lot of techno music years later.
Years later. In so many different ways too. Yeah.
All right, Dave, thank you for the Beatles. Tomorrow Never Knows, number 2. My number 2, International Geophysical Year.
Okay.
It's an international scientific project that ran from July 1957 to December 1968 and promoted collaboration among the world's scientists. Otherwise known as IGY, a song from 1982's The Nightfly album by Donald Fagen. IGY. Yeah. The lyrics discuss the widespread optimism, the optimistic vision of the future, with Donald Fagen's tongue firmly planted in his cheek throughout the entire song. His lyrics are quite sarcastic. It's a cheery tune. It's a great song. And the main thing about the tune is it will be, well, I shouldn't give anything away for future episodes, but this is one of my favorite sounding tracks of all time. It was one of the first all digital recordings, and I'm a huge analog fan. I love tape. I love the sound of it, but this record is so clean and so you can crank it and it just never stops sounding good. And I know, it's like, yeah, people are kind of like Steely Dan, Donald Fagen. So, there's some people, he's kind of a polarizing, they are kind of a polarizing band.
That album is regarded as one of the greatest sounding albums of all time, right? Yeah. Sometimes the early digital stuff surprises the hell out of me.
That one's one of them. One's one. Because there's other stuff that sounds horrible. There's other.
You look on the back of the CD and it says DDD, and it's an amazing sounding album. I'm like, wow, yeah. And it's like 1985.
Well, this was 82 when they were getting into that other stuff. That was other sorts of digital recording. This was a beast that they were recording on, which I guess was a little finicky and it was a little difficult to work with.
Radar?
It was a 3 3M digital mastering system. It was 32
right.
tracks, 16-bit, 50 kilohertz, and it was the size of a refrigerator. It cost $150,000, which is $503,000 today.
Yeah. Damn.
So that's what they were recording on, and it just it just sounds. The record just sounds so good, but I won't go on anymore about the sound of it. Just some of the quick highlights on the lyrics. You've got to admit it, at this point, the time is clear, the future looks bright. Undersea by rail, 90 minutes from New York to Paris. Get your ticket to that wheel in space while there's time. The fix is in. Here at home, we'll play in the city, powered by the sun. Perfect weather for a streamlined world. There'll be spandex jackets, one for everyone. Okay, and this is the part that I wanted to really point out. This is one of the last verses. A just machine, like as in, a just, like wise, fair, a just machine to make big decisions, programmed by fellas with compassion and vision, will be clean when their work is done, will be eternally free, yes, and eternally young. That sounds an awful lot like AI. A just machine to make big decisions, programmed by fellows with compassion and vision. Again, tongue in cheek. That's my number 2, IGY. Nice. Donald Fagen from the Nightfly.
Never knew what IGY stood for.
Yeah. International Geophysical Year.
Wow.
It always conjured up TCBY in my head. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh my God. All right, Glenn, you're number 1.
Number 1 now.
All right. My number 1 is Home Computer by Kraftwerk. Off of Computer World, 1981. These are my kind of lyrics. Let me tell you.
What do we got?
I program my home computer, beam myself into the future. That's it.
That's it.
That's all.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
It repeats.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah. Mic drop.
I mean, we're talking about 1981, and to me, it's just like, okay, everybody, in the future, we're going to be able to do some crazy with computers, and here's a little ditty, which leaves it up to your imagination.
Here's a little ditty.
Yeah.
Here's a little ditty with instruments that we made in our science lab together.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're such, like, I think they were scientists, weren't they?
Yeah.
Look at them.
Yeah,
Look at them. Yeah. And classically trained musicians who were also like part scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about them is futuristic, right? I mean,
Yes.
Great live show too, by the way. For those who have not seen them, I thought it would kind of be boring, and I'm a huge fan, but I thought it'd be boring, but it was not. It was very cool.
Oh, man.
Really
Disney Concert Hall sounded amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yes. That was
And
good.
it was, the show I saw there was Computer World in its entirety. And then they followed it with a kind of a greatest hits set.
I was at that show, I think. Sounded so good.
Yeah. And then
really
they did the 3D show at the Hollywood Bowl, which was awesome as well.
Yes. All right, Home Computer.
Nice.
Glenn's number 1 by Kraftwerk. Dave, your number 1.
This artist, when his debut album came out, I loved it. I was in school, I was in college, was studying recording. Everyone was talking about this record. This song is called Future Love Paradise by Seal and his debut album. Produced by Trevor Horn from the Buggles. That band had the first ever video on MTV. Video Killed the Radio Star. Great produced album. It's post Cold War, so it's kind of the early '90s optimism. It's the future of utopia, love rules. It's a very great optimistic view of the future because the Cold War was kind of ending and there was optimism kind of worldwide. So it's just a great song about that. The song itself is so good. It's such a great groove. It sounds great. I'm a huge fan of Seal. His first 2 records are amazing, especially the first one. I played this album endlessly, and something
I remember that.
Just something in his voice like spoke to me or something. His phrasing, his note choices. He was different, the songs weren't they were out of the ordinary. They weren't, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. And I think it was a meeting of like Trevor Horn and Seal at the right people at the right time. I know this song isn't necessarily like not a huge song. It's kind of a deep cut, but Future Love Paradise by Seal from 1991, my number one.
Awesome. That is a great one. Yeah, that record. Yeah, he was kind of an anomaly. He really was doing his own thing. He didn't. No one. One of those artists. No one sounded like him. Yeah. It wasn't like you could tell he wasn't copying anybody. He was just doing his own thing, and I really haven't heard anything quite like that brand of kind of blended all the electronic
and soul
with
and
some all kinds of different stuff.
Where did he go? What happened to Seal?
He's still around. He's still around. I saw him doing a goofy commercial a little while ago.
Yeah, but I think he just probably said, "I'm good for now." But one thing I did want to mention is he never published his lyrics in his albums on purpose. And people had asked him because people he doesn't sing necessarily the clearest. So he was always like, "It's up to you. Whatever you think it says, it's what it says," which I thought was cool in one way, but I was like, come on, man. I want to know what you're talking about. Yeah. But it's especially in this song, there are some lines I'm like, I think he says this, but I don't really know. So it's kind of up to your own interpretation.
Just you interpret it.
I just do remember this album, especially because when I was in college was everyone was listening to this record because of how different it sounded from what was going on at the time, especially people that were trying to become recording engineers.
What did they do? This was the Berkeley folks, album.
Yeah. And we talked about it a lot and played it a lot.
Very cool. That's a great one. My number one. Whoops, I forgot. By the way, there's my image and heap.
Yeah, nice.
It's a music on vinyl reissue.
Yeah, that's a good one.
They really do some good stuff over there at Music on Vinyl.
And there's old Donnie Fagen. That's a great cover.
Nice.
Yeah. I love that cover.
Smoking Butts.
Interesting. He's in front of a record player, a digital album.
Right. Ashing a cigarette on the album.
This is what I think of analog. The machine there where he was recording that on it must have been a digital tape, right? It wasn't it
was digital
hard drive. Digital tape though, but not a hard
Right. Digital tape.
Drive.
Yeah, it was digital
not
tape.
Like a radar. Yeah, digital tape. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So surprise. My number one, different song.
Yeah.
Than Glen.
Yeah.
But
same record.
Yeah.
There we go. And this is I think we got some German down here at the
special edition.
Yeah.
EZL. Anyway, mine is Computer Love. Which has, the lyrics are Another Lonely Night. I won't go through a bunch of these like I have in the past. Another lonely night, stare at the TV screen. I don't know what to do. I need a rendezvous. Computer Love. I call this number for a date. I don't know what to do. I need a rendezvous. Computer Love. So
date.
Yeah. There are two that I left off my list, and now that I'm last, I can say there are two that I will say everyone should go check out if you really want to be freaked out by what people were singing about. But I took them off my list because they weren't my favorites, But the Buggles, Dave, that you mentioned, has a song called Miss Robot or something like that off Age of Plastic, the one that has Video Killed the Radio Star. It is creepy. It's full on talking. The whole song's about falling in love with a robot or whatever. And then because I've had Kate Bush on every one of my top fives practically, I left her off this one, but she has a song called Deeper Understanding that is all about falling in love with basically your computer or whatever. But it's a great track too. She has two versions of it. But anyway, those really go deep lyrically into some of this stuff we're hearing and seeing articles about now that we talked about before, where there's a real concern that humans are going to really isolate and get into relationships with machines. So that's a real thing now, and they were singing about this a long time ago, so we were warned. But
why do you think that though? Because it was so new, and the idea of everyone having their own, just because it was a new thing, and then they figured I don't know, like what spurred, because it seems to be a lot of people talking about that at that particular time.
Well, and I think it was about, they really were talking about how these would happen because it would basically the flattery, which is what ChatGPT was up until this ChatGPT 5 update. It would just flatter you and tell you all how great you were and what a genius you were and how lovely and beautiful. And, it would get weird sometimes. And they just changed that finally. But that's, kind of amazing that's what was predicted by
a
lot of people, that these things would just tell everybody what they want to hear. And it still is information wise. Every day I catch it lying. For people out there who don't use ChatGPT very much or any of these other ones, they don't tell you that they just make stuff up a lot of the time. So you have to check go back and check what it tells you, because I just asked it just yesterday. I said, is that really true what you just told me? Because I don't think any of that is true at all. And it said, no, I made it up. It told me it made it up. It's not, it's not true. I made it up.
What questions are you asking?
I can't remember what that one was about, but this happens almost every day. I use it a lot, and every day it's giving me some nonsense, and I challenge it, and it's like, oh yeah, you caught me again. You caught me again. And then I get in a fight with it. Why do you keep telling me? I keep telling you to not lie to me. Stop making stuff up. And it's like, well, they call it hallucinations or whatever. Hallucinations are when you put 6 fingers on a hand, when you ask it to do an image, that's a hallucination. Making up is not like a hallucination. That's just making stuff up. It's making a choice to make stuff up and send it to you.
Well, it doesn't always make the right choice.
Yeah.
It's fallible.
Last thing with Computer Love that I thought was kind of fun was the melody that which I won't sing, but the melody because we'll get in trouble was lifted by Coldplay for the song Talk. The melody through Computer Love. So go back and listen to Computer Love, then go listen to Talk by Coldplay. Chris Martin wrote to the Kraftwerk Studios, and it took them 6 months to get back to him on if they could use the melody and properly pay them for it. And it took them 6 months, and they got a letter back in the mail, no email, a letter in the mail, and it said, yes. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for hanging with us today. Top 5 songs about the future. Please leave your songs about the future in the comments so we can check them out, have some fun, and maybe revisit these at a later date. But thanks for being here today, and we'll see you on the next one.